What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti, and I'm going to give you a MacBook Pro update because, as you can see, I have one box. Actually, you can't tell, but I've got two MacBook Pros here. I've got my original one, which was $3,000, and which had that famous issue of locking up. Now, thanks to most of you guys, lots of suggestions, lots of people offered to help out, lots of good stuff, but ultimately, I had to keep going the Mac route and going through Mac. And after they failed to get me in to connect and view the hard drive that I had, they suggested that I go to a forensic data recovery service, which means they're going to piece apart the hard drive, which means I was on the hook for thousands of dollars for something that Apple admitted they screwed up. Somebody told me to do something that they shouldn't. Just to recap, I had my computer. It had an account on it that when I got my new computer, I was finishing on my old computer, got my new computer, and I was just using it for web browsing, getting used to the touch bar and everything. A week later, I used the backup assistant or the time machine from my previous computer through Migration Assistant, created a second account on the computer. So now anytime I wanted to do anything, if I had to restart the computer, I had to go log out of the other account, or when it did restart, I had to log into the new account. So I was just passing through this vestigial account, and I wanted to make that go away. So after one of the updates, and I was on the phone with Apple support because it's screwed up my Apple TV, they told me, the first level Apple support person was like, oh, you know what, that didn't work. Let me send you over to a next level. So I talked to the next level person, and the next level person is the one that put me in the safe mode and had me delete that user account through safe mode. And I was like, hey, we're in safe mode here. And are you sure you want me to push that button? Should I back anything up first? No, you don't have to worry about it. Boom. It was the last time I was ever able to access this computer, and that sucks. And Apple admitted they screwed up. And ultimately, after lots of trial and error, the problem I was having is my hard drive was now unmounted and encrypted by FileVault. And by deleting that root user or something like that, it disconnected my hard drive from my account. So my password didn't work to get into the FileVault. Like my actual type in password to unlock hard drive wouldn't do it. And then on top of that, it didn't work to get the encryption key, the backup encryption key, which goes into my iTunes or my iCloud, was disassociated with this hard drive, so it didn't have it anymore. So I could not get into this hard drive. Then they suggested as a last straw, I go to Data Savers or Drive Savers, who is a forensic data recovery service. They take the hard drive apart, they put it back together, they charge me lots of money if they're successful. And ultimately, Apple said if I send it to, they're a Apple supported company, if they're able to do anything, they will warranty the computer still from Drive Saver's work. So they're an authorized representative of Apple, third party, but authorized rep. So I put a couple $1,000s on the line. Drive Savers, even though they came up with nothing, they said, we can't do anything, I'm sorry. So they didn't even take it apart, but they pay for the shipping out, they pay for the shipping back, and they don't charge you unless they recover the files that you actually need. Now, what files could somebody possibly need? My files that I get a lot of messages. This is probably, I've got taxes, I've got stuff for lawsuits, and I've got screenshots, and my brain gets overloaded very easily. And one of the things that I ended up doing was when I get all these messages, I can't keep up with them. When I put up a video and somebody's like, I've got this, I've got that, I just take screenshots. So I've got folders of screenshots to remind me to go through and be like, okay, for my house, I had somebody offer me this. I had somebody who wanted to do that. I had this guy who's got a service, and I screenshot them all and throw it in a folder. Those folders are all gone. Now, ultimately, I had to buy this computer so I didn't have to wipe this computer completely. Ultimately, that's what I'm going to end up having to do now, which sucks. But ultimately, it's going to be the hardest button to push, which is the legitimately the I give up button. All right, reformat the hard drive. And lose everything. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen like in minutes, and that's going to suck. But they agreed to take this back, even though it was beyond the 21 days that they would normally take a computer back. They gave me up to 6 months to return this computer. So I did get that loaner, and a lot of people, let me just say, a lot of people in the comments, you got to go to Rossman. There's a guy, Louis Rossman, who's got a YouTube channel who fixes Macs all day long. He's in Manhattan. That after Drive Savers, after everything, he was my Alamo. He was my like last stand, and I went there and they couldn't do jack shit either. So ultimately, good news, if you encrypt your hard drive, it'll be encrypted forever. Bad news is if for some reason your computer gets screwed up and your hard drive gets jumbled, you lose all that data. So you have to make sure it sort of doesn't make sense. You have to make sure you back that data up, but then you'd have to encrypt the backup data if you were that concerned about it. So like one way or another, if you want to be sure that you don't lose stuff, you have to have a non-encrypted copy of it. Again, I guess it's more towards if a computer gets stolen or something. Anyway, I'm gonna do this now, and I'm gonna, just try to hate myself a little bit. But I'm going to go and reset this computer, and that will be the end of the story. The good news is because Apple identified that they screwed up, they sent me this 2 terabyte airport time capsule, which is $300. Yeah, I know, doesn't really fix anything, but at this point in time, you take what you can get. But I was like, nothing. Like it's really like for somebody who lives off a computer, it was a tough day. And this button right here, it's now we're going on 3 months, 3.5 months, 4 months, whatever it is. The fact that I'm throwing in the towel finally, it hurts right here. It does, but that's the story. That's everything you guys suggested. I tried everything everybody suggested. I tried. Tried going through Apple. Tried going to third parties. I mean, shy of going to Russian hackers. And I even though or whatever hackers, I just don't think this is going to be a success in any way, shape, or form. So I push the button, and that's all she wrote. There's the update that brings the story full circle. Let's do this. Okay. Restoring will erase the selected destination disk. Use migration assistance to restore to a new computer. Continue. There it is. This is essentially the problem I've been having, is that it just doesn't recognize any of my passwords. Even now, trying to reset it and restore it off of a backup, it's not recognizing my passwords. I can't even do it. Like, I'm literally going to have to go to the Mac store to get them to even allow this thing to see this. Or I'm just going to have to throw this thing into a wall, because it's really... Yeah. So it looks like I'm going to be going to the Mac store to get this done, which is good because I can throw the old computer at them and say, give me my money back. But this is just such a fail. And even to this day, on High Sierra, I have the same problems that I had. Like, getting this new MacBook Pro was probably the biggest computer mistake I've ever made in my life. The last one was so much better. All I had to do was swap a battery, and it would have been a much better in a much better spot. This sucks. That's all I got right now. Like, Apple, yes, they gave me a time capsule. Yes, they caused me to lose months worth of data. Yes, I should have backed it up. But also, when I say, hey, should I back something up first? The answer probably should have been yes. So, long story short, how do you guys prevent yourselves from falling into this? This thing actually does a backup off the Wi-Fi every day, so that's good. Or you have to sit through that first 14 or 15 hour backup so that it can back up on a daily basis and you don't get stuck like I did. That's the Apple report. That's the Apple update. I don't know. It just got to close the story, and that's where I'm closing it. See you later.